In February 2026, the Supreme Court of India executed a rare and sudden maneuver. It completely banned a middle school textbook. The target was a newly released Class 8 NCERT Social Science book. NCERT is the government body that designs the national school curriculum. The court intervened because one specific chapter explicitly detailed corruption in the judiciary to 13-year-olds. This cascading bar chart shows the scale of the data presented to the students. It plots 81,000 cases pending in the Supreme Court, 62.4 lakh in the high courts, and a massive 4.7 crore backlogged cases in district and subordinate courts. Presenting these specific figures alongside allegations of graft to 8th graders crossed a hard line for the judiciary. From the court's perspective, this framing teaches students that the justice system is irreparably broken and systemically corrupt, rather than an institution facing operational challenges. Chief Justice Surya Kant took suo moto cognizance of the textbook issue to pull it from circulation and issue contempt notices to the Federal Education Secretary. Suo moto describes a situation where the court initiates a hearing on its own authority without a formal petition. The Chief Justice issued his justification directly from the bench, declaring that nobody on earth will be allowed to defame the judiciary and taint its integrity. This clash exposes a difficult constitutional paradox. Citizens in a democracy naturally demand transparency and accountability from all state institutions, yet the courts require absolute independence from outside influence to function impartially. The Supreme Court's response was an automatic system defense mechanism. The Constitution relies on the court to insulate itself against any external narrative that could undermine its authority or manipulate public trust. Ironically, the banned textbook cited the exact framework designed to keep judges honest, the Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct. Finalized at the Peace Palace in The Hague in 2002, this document serves as the universal benchmark for global judicial ethics. The code outlines 6 load-bearing pillars governing a judge's behavior: independence, impartiality, integrity, propriety, equality, and competence. The text explicitly focuses on the integrity principle, demanding a judge's conduct be beyond reproach to reaffirm public faith in the system. Here is where the constitutional friction occurs. The Bangalore Principles demand absolute ethical accountability. However, if external bodies like the executive branch are given the power to enforce these rules, it threatens the first and most vital pillar, independence. To navigate this friction, India relies on the landmark 1991 Supreme Court case, K. Veeraswamy v. Union of India. This ruling built the primary structural safeguard protecting judges from external criminal investigations. The court ruled that while judges of the higher courts are technically classified as public servants, standard police forces or anti-corruption bodies cannot simply register a criminal case against them. The ruling established a specific procedural shield. Before a first information report, or FIR, can be filed against a sitting judge, investigators must obtain prior sanction from the Chief Justice of India. An FIR is the official police document initiating an investigation. Without this barrier, the executive branch could weaponize fake criminal cases to blackmail judges. The Veeraswamy mechanism intentionally sacrifices a degree of immediate, visible public transparency to guarantee that the state apparatus cannot physically coerce the judiciary. This structural shield is actively applied today. Recently, the Supreme Court stayed an order from the Lokpal after the agency attempted to investigate a sitting High Court judge. The Lokpal is India's national anti-corruption ombudsman, tasked with investigating allegations against public officials. The court's legal reasoning rested on classification. Constitutional appointees, like judges, are structurally distinct from regular government officials who answer to parliamentary legislation like the Lokpal Act. In fact, there is only one constitutional mechanism available to actually remove a corrupt judge: the highly complex impeachment process outlined in Article 124(4) of the Constitution. The case of Justice Sumitra Sen illustrates the difficulty of this process. Removing him required a formal investigation under the Judges' Inquiry Act, followed by a 2/3 majority vote in Parliament. The system is engineered to be highly cumbersome. By design, only structurally proven corruption can breach the judicial fortress, ensuring judges are never removed over simple political disputes. The Supreme Court acknowledged a harsh reality in the Veeraswamy judgment. The judiciary controls neither the government's budget nor its military. Having no power of the purse or the sword, its survival relies entirely on public confidence. To maintain this public confidence without opening the door to external interference, the Supreme Court adopted an internal solution in 1997, known as the in-house procedure. Under this procedure, allegations of judicial corruption are investigated exclusively by a committee of peer judges. Discipline is kept strictly within the judicial family. Banning the NCERT textbook was a rigid enforcement of this exact boundary. The court signaled that scrutiny of the judiciary must remain an internal process, rather than a public discussion point for middle schoolers. For candidates preparing for UPSC mains, this controversy illustrates the complexities of General Studies Paper 2, Polity and Governance, specifically the separation of powers. When framing essays on this topic, contrast the theoretical demand for accountability found in the Bangalore Principles against the practical, structural independence guaranteed by the Veeraswamy safeguard. You should also cite the 1966 Naresh Sridhar Mirishkar case. This precedent established that the judiciary is an independent institution and does not fall under the definition of the state when applying standard constitutional limitations. Here is your practice question. Critically analyze the mechanisms of judicial accountability in India. Does shielding the higher judiciary from anti-corruption bodies compromise transparency? Mastering constitutional physics means recognizing a difficult truth. True democracy requires a frustrating balance